Whew. Well, hello, I'm Big Z, and this is CopyCat Garage, where I take inspiration from some great YouTubers, put my little bit of a spin on it, and hopefully we learn together. Today, I am going to be presenting to you my welding table. It's kind of a temporary fixture. It's something for me to learn on. Again, my welding skills have been hibernating for a long time, since high school, and I need to create a way that I can start practicing some welds, get familiar with the equipment that I have before I go into bigger projects, because I don't want crappy welds on my motorcycle, and I want to be good at something, right? So anyways, stick around and I'm going to show you what we've done to my welding table. All right, so here we are. In front of me, I have got my parts cart that I've got from good old Harbor Freight. I added an extra set of wheels so that they move in all directions, all four wheels. I use this a lot when I'm working on engines and things like that. I have things sitting here while I'm sitting on a little scoot around stool, shop stool. But I have purchased some plans for a really nice big welding table. We call it a fixture table. You've probably seen them before. They've got holes in them so you can put what's called dogs in them to be able to get a good solid points of reference for and whatever you're welding isn't scooting around on the tabletop. But before I build that, I want to get my welds looking really, really nice. I look at the motorcycle and I look at some of the welds on there from the factory, and they look a little bit like the welds that I'm doing right now with very little practice. And I want to practice. I want to get that down so that I feel confident that the welds that I do are going to stay, and they're going to look nice, because some welds, I just think you need to see the welds. I want to become a welder, not a grinder. And just kind of an inside joke there that anybody can make a terrible weld look good just by grinding it down and making it flush. But I look at people like my cousin, who is just a phenomenal welder. The stuff that he does is just like laying dimes down, and it's perfect. So I emulate that. I want to emulate that, and the best way to do that is to practice. So what I'm going to be doing is creating a table that I can put onto this rolling cart that isn't permanent. I can take it off, put it to the side when I'm not welding, when I'm working on some mechanical things, and then when I'm welding, I can pick it up, put it on here, do some practice and stuff like that. So that's kind of the idea behind building this temporary table. Plus, I want the table to be able to hold my welder. Let me show you the welder. All right, so I got this welder. It's a very basic welder, Lincoln Electric, and it is a MIG welder. It does what's called gas arc welding, and then it also does flux core, so FCAR or AW. Basically, if you look inside here, you'll see a spool of wire. This is, right now I don't have a can of gas or anything like that, a bottle of gas connected to it. So the gas, when you have the gas on it, it actually creates like a shield as you're welding, and the result is no flux or anything like that to chip off when you're done welding. It's nice clean weld. This, however, has the flux in the core in the middle. It's wrapped around with wire, and as you're welding, the heat creates that shield, that gas, if you will, but it also has a byproduct that covers your weld. So you've got chip and brush all of that clear from your weld when you're done. But this is just a basic one. It works off of my regular plug that I have. I don't have to have 220 or anything like that, so has 210. It comes with your gun. All right, comes with one tip and your grounding clamp, and you can just start welding right away with this. So what I want to do on this table is I want to create a spot where, let's hold it this way. These are really good if you're doing stuff out in the field because they're so light. But anyway, right here on this side of the where the bar is for pushing, I want to have a little space where the welder will sit, and then I'll have like a shield here to keep sparks from, affecting the surface of my welder, and then I'll have a table across here that I can weld onto, and then I just simply, all I need to do is clamp the ground to that table somewhere, because it will complete the ground or the circuit when I'm welding on it. So that's the idea. So let's get to it. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to cut out a little notch so that it fits around inside these two, but also comes across this way. So let's Now, what we're going to do, so I've got these cross members now done so they can fit right inside there like that. This is the surface now that I'll be welding to. I've got to create a cradle for my welding unit. So I've got these smaller pieces of angle iron right here that will act as a cradle. And I got to get the dimensions of the inside measurement, all right? So where this outside of this foot here and the outside of that foot there, that distance is going to be the inside distance between this upright of this angle iron and the next one. And it's going to sit as close to this handle as I can. So it'll hold that in place. So let's get that measurement and get ready to weld. All right, so let's see. 5 13/16. All right. I have to say, metric is a little easier. Anyway, let's put that down. Let's write that down. 5 and 13/16. All right. So now that I have that measurement, I need to grind back the surfaces that will be welded together. So that gives me that measurement there. Why is that so much shorter? Okay. So this across like this. So I'm going to clean past where I'm welding so I have a good little footprint, if you will. Let's just mark that. About where that mark is there. And then same here, up to there. I'm going to grind all that back, and then so those are my marks. To prep this metal, I'm going to grind all of this area down to raw metal. Get rid of the scaling and all that's on this. I'm not going to worry, well, I'm going to probably go down this way as well because I want to make it really strong. I'm going to come across here. I'm going to come across here so that my welds will be like this, up underneath, across here, and across here. So that makes a nice, good, solid weld. It's my plans. I don't have anybody to consult with until after the fact. So that's kind of where we're going to go. And then on bottom of these, I'm going to do the same thing. Where this cuts across, we're just going to basically go about that far. I don't need to be precise with this because it's going to land somewhere in there and it's going to be much more than I need. So it's going to be grinded there on that piece and the same on the other piece. So let's get to grinding. So the tool I'm going to use to clean up the areas that are going to be welded obviously is the grinder, but I also have this Diablo 40 grit disc. I really like these. These work fast and clean up really well. I probably could have just used the cutting disc that I had on there, but in my opinion, it's a cutting disc. I cut with it. Yeah, I can grind and smooth with it, but this does a really good job. So let's go to it. I'm going to try to square this up. We're going to go this way. I want this butted right up against this edge, but I want it square on here. And I have a sneaking suspicion that this isn't the same. All right, before we get started, if you haven't already, please subscribe, ring that bell notification, give us a like if so inclined, but definitely leave me a comment. I read each and every one of them. I promise I will respond to yours, especially if you see I'm doing something wrong or I could have done something better for those of you who are big-time welders. But nonetheless, share it with your friends if you're so inclined as well. There you go. I said it. Do it. Thank you. Nope, it's not welded yet. I'm just kind of lining it up, kind of seeing how I need to go. Do I need to grind in here and grind out some of these welds so this can go up right up next to that? Should I not worry about it and just leave kind of a little bit of a gap? I'm looking at my welder. There's no vents on the side that this would be going on. So now what I've got to do is I want to make sure that the side of the angle here, where this is to the edge of the plate, you know, if it's going to be the same width as it is here, because these stringers now are united on this end right down here, but this isn't. So I want to come in here. I'm going to make sure that this is this way. I'm going to come in and I'm going to tack this right there. I'm gonna come down here, tack where it is, in 4 spots. Hopefully that will be strong enough. I'll let it cool down. Then I'm gonna pop it off and flip it upside down, and then I'm going to just run a weld either side of that of this angle iron. Probably do like an inch, come over about 2 or 3 inches, do an inch, 2 or 3 inches, do it, and just kind of zigzag across, so that it stitches it to the frame, and it's going to be strong enough that, you know, you can pick it up and move it around and it's not going to break off. Hopefully, if my welds are good enough. That's the big caveat right there. I also want to grind down those edges so they're not as sharp. And then when I'm done with that, I will give you a update. I don't want to bore you with all the grinding. So with the magic of editing, this is the end result. This is what I was talking about at the beginning of the video. We've got my welder sitting here. I've got the part that you saw me fabricate, where it sits into this nice little angle iron here. Then on this side, I've got the shield, which is basically just to keep any kind of weld splatter from getting onto my welder. I have these little devices here to actually assist in keeping this up on a 90-degree angle. A nice big surface. A place for me to clamp my ground to complete the circuit when I'm welding. If I need it to be a little bit more, I can also come down here and just clip it straight to the surface. But it should be able to connect all the way through, so no matter where I clamp this, I can even clamp it back here, it should complete the circuit. I've got room back here in the back that if I decide to connect a bottle, I can have the bottle off to the one side. I don't know if I'll ever create a way of mounting a bottle, because the bottles, even the small ones, are fairly large, and it would kind of make this a little tipsy. I think when I get to that point, I may just have a dedicated cart for my welder. And even by then, I may even have a bigger, better multi-type of welding unit then. But anyways, that's where that goes. I am right-handed, so I have this little thing I got from Harbor Freight that I can actually then take when I'm done with my welder, I can take it, rest it there while I position for the next weld, or remove the device when I'm not using the gun. And anyway, so that's it. Before I go, however, I'd like to thank the Metal Supermarkets in Chandler. They were one of the few places that I found that was open on Saturday, and I am so thankful for that, because you can go there with your plans or submit plans to them, and they'll cut all the metal for you the way that you want it. The only thing I had to cut were these little brackets right here. That's because I didn't even think about doing that when I was there at the store. Had I had this planned up and everything like that and not off the cuff, I could have had all the bits and pieces ready, and all I had to do was clean and weld. Hats off to those guys. Their link to their website and contact information will be in the description below. They came through, were very, very friendly and helpful, and to me, that's what it's all about. But when I get good customer service, I want to tell you about it. And they were definitely great customer service, very friendly people there. And of course, you know, Harbor Freight, there we go. Shout out to Harbor Freight. Probably, this is the one out in Superstition. It's probably the cleanest, most well-organized Harbor Freight store I've ever been to. This place was awesome. Huge too. It was like maybe 2 times the size of the Harbor Freight that I used to go to in Queen Creek. Really friendly people there, staff. They helped me find some of the stuff that I needed to be able to complete this project. And so anyways, hats off to good old Harbor Freight. Now let's quickly take a look. I want to show you some of the welds so you can see where I am right now when it comes to my welding skills, and take a deeper look at this project. All right, here we are, a little closer look at the table. I actually did manage to get a really nice weld there, right there in the center of the screen. That one's better than what I've seen on my motorcycle. But just to prove that I'm really a novice, here's some crappy welds. And sadly, again, a lot of these welds are better than what I've seen on my motorcycle, straight from the factory. Actually, even better than some of the equipment that I get or I've purchased from retailers. Very choppy, very blocky, but this isn't to pass any beauty competitions. It's to get something so I can practice and make it better so that they will pass a beauty competition, right? But that's a closer look at my table. The cool thing about it is I can take that off if I want to. Let me show you. All right, so the way I've created this or designed this is so that I don't have to always have it now permanently as a welding table. When I finally build my new welding table, this can go back to a parts cart, or if in the meantime I'm not welding but I'm working on an engine or something, I can still create this as a parts cart. Just take off the ground. Grab all my leads and everything. Take the welder off. Set that to the side. All right. I just grab it right underneath here. And there you go. I can put that down to the side, use this as a parts cart. When I'm ready to put it back or use it again as a welding table, I just slide that in between the shelf on the top. I get something to help organize and maintain my cords. Slide that underneath here. And just stick it right there for now. So there you have it. I wish I had some good welding shots because it's cool to see sparks fly, but hopefully some other time you'll see me in action welding, and hopefully you'll see prettier welds than what you saw on here. But anyways, until next time, I'd like to thank again my editor, Maya, for the wonderful work that she does to help me. Don't forget, you can support the stuff that we're doing here and help me support my editor through our Patreon page, where we have some special unique opportunities and insight that you won't get on the channel. Or if you just want to throw some money our way, we do have a coffee site where you can go and make a donation if you wish. Again, thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment. Tell us where you're watching this from, or ask any questions, or give me some advice on how to do better welds. Until next time, wrench now, brag later. You know those little short videos that they do where the guy rates what the young welders are worth by showing their stuff? I'd probably have to turn around and pay the person with my welding jobs.